Today we're going to be working on our compost. We are building a bin and also getting our pile started. So first thing we did was walk around the yard and figure out the best location for it to go. And we've decided on this spot right behind me because it's conveniently located next to our garden bed, and also there is a great big cactus and a couple smaller trees that might provide too much shade for some of the plants or vegetables that we want to grow. So while Peter disassembles the pallet boards that we'll be using to build it, I'm going to start getting this pile cleared out because unfortunately this is where we decided to put all of our materials. So I'm going to get that started first.
Get them out, might as well reuse the nails, right? So I'm taking off one side of the paneling on the pallets and using them to fill the gaps on the other side. It's not going to be airtight, obviously, but we don't want it airtight. I think it'll be a good combo with some airflow, and the compost won't be coming out of it either. So okay, this is what it looks like with the paneling hammered in on the other side. So this piece is done. Now we'll start on this one. You see over here where it says HT, that stands for heat treated. From what I understand, if you want to build a composting bin out of pallets, you want to go with the HT instead of the pressure treated because there's no chemicals used treating it this way. So I'm just adding this privacy fence paneling here and on the top and bottom behind me, just to have it spaced out as much as we want it so that we can fit the front of the other pallet in front of it. That way it doesn't shift and move, and for extra support.
So there we are. Here is our compost bin. Before we attach the front panel, I thought we would go ahead and get started on the actual compost. So first off, I laid down this cardboard to help prevent any weeds or other grass from growing into it. I don't know how important this step is, but I figured it wouldn't hurt. As a side note, this is a very productive day in our neighborhood. All the neighbors are working on their yards, cutting their grass. Our very next door neighbor is fixing his house using saws and drills. Kids are playing, and also a storm might be rolling in. So I'm trying to be very efficient, and hopefully we can get through this and everyone can hear me okay. But Just to mention as well, this is the very first experience that I have composting, and so this is all an experiment for me, but I have done a lot of learning and research for the last few days, and I thought I would share just a little bit about what I've learned so far and hopefully pass that on to anybody else that's also a beginner. So, a couple important things to mention is that first and foremost, how important composting is to the environment. From what I understand, millions of tons of organic matter, yard waste, and food scraps go to the landfill each year. And that instead could be prevented from going to the landfills to begin with, and it could indeed be composted, which is great for Mother Earth and also ourselves and our gardens. So composting is such a beneficial thing. What exactly is compost? So compost is the decomposition of materials, organic matter. And bacteria and fungi use water and air to help this process, along with worms and bugs. So earthworms are our friend in this case. And through all of that process, the organic matter eventually, through all of that, becomes really nutrient-rich soil that we can use in our gardens. So here in Florida, our really sandy soil benefits from compost because water tends to just flow through it, and it doesn't have that bulk to retain water, and so this rich soil material, it really helps to bulk it out and help with water retention, so it's important there. Also, if you live in a place where your soil tends to be a lot of clay, that can be really compacted material, and so compost being added to it can kind of loosen it up and help for water to flow through it better and not flood your gardens. Okay, so the compost that I am starting today is a very basic, easy system. There is so much information out there, and you can make it really, truly as complicated as you wish, from what I understand so far. But basically, we need to have a good ratio between nitrogen-rich and carbon-rich materials. So the nitrogen-rich materials are going to be the green matter, so things like food scraps, which are vegetable, fruit, eggshells, coffee grounds, tea, and even nuts can be added as the green matter. The carbon material is our brown matter, so that is things like torn up cardboard and paper bags, even newspapers, toilet paper rolls, wood chips, and even dry leaves from your yard that you rake up. So the carbon-rich material is important because it really helps to regulate the smells and to keep all of that sort of under control. So people do different ratios. What I'm going to do is a 3-to-1 ratio, so that is 3 parts of the brown material to 1 part of the green material. And that mixture together seems to be what most people lean towards, so I'm going to do the same thing. So things that you want to avoid composting are meat, dairy, oil, animal bones, things like that will just bring a lot of bad smells, and it will also bring pests or our dog Ranger to our compost, which is what we don't want to do. So there are some forms of composting that utilize this, but not the one that I'm going to be doing today. So the method that I've chosen to do is the passive, or sometimes called cold method. Alright, so I'm going to get started on my layering. The very first layer on top of the cardboard is going to be a bit of broken up palm fronds from my yard in small sticks, and that's going to help with more aeration. It's going to get enough air to come through the bottom of it. Now we've left some gaps in the pallet boards for that reason as well, because we need a lot of airflow in here, and also water. We need this to stay moist, not soaking wet, but that helps for the perfect environment for the bacteria and fungi and the worms to do what they need to make this happen. This here is a little bit of mulch. I'm going to collect a little bit more. Alright, now I've got some pine needles and dried up leaves. Just getting a good base layer going. Alright, so this bag here I have filled up with shredded up cardboard like cereal boxes, also some more paper bags, toilet paper rolls, things like that. So this is some more brown matter that I'm just going to sprinkle around. Alright, now we can add some of our green matter, our food scraps. So here we've collected this for the last few days. So this will be added on top of this now. Ahead and add some more shredded up cardboard. Some more pine needles and leaves. So by tearing up the brown material and even chopping up or crushing some of your green material, that just helps to speed up the compost process, the decomposition. So that can really help from what I've heard. Now this is a big bag of coffee grounds that we got from our local Starbucks. They give this away for free. Hopefully this isn't too much. I know that it is a really acidic substance, but maybe I'll just do half for now. I'm going to go all the way. We're doing it all. Now for the cilantro. This is the cilantro that we got from our local food pantry. They were going to throw this away, so we swung by and just asked them, and they were happy to give this to us. If you want to hear a little bit more about how we got everything started for free, I will link a video to our previous video above, and I'll also put it in the description below. So on goes the cilantro. It's already starting to do its thing, so I'm just going to dump it. Right. Glad we got that, so we saved it from going to the landfill. Final bit of brown material. I'm going to be shredding up this bag and some more cardboard, laying that on top, and then I'll mix it all together. And it's already got quite a bit of moisture in it, but I might give it a little bit more water, and then we'll attach this front panel. We may add hinges to the front so that we can open it, but we're going to have to make this a little more structurally sound to hold the weight. So for now we're probably just going to prop this front panel on and maybe secure it with a few nails so that it doesn't fall on the kids. But that way we can remove it easily when this is ready or when we need to tend to it. And we can just remove this front panel and shovel it stir it around. Alright, so it looks like we're going to have to get some more brown material, but the whole process is a layering concept anyway, but this is what we're working with. So it's looking good. Now we will probably come out here every couple days or so and give this a toss around with the shovel or the rake to mix it up and get some more airflow in there. On occasion we'll add some water, but it's looking really great. Now I just want to reiterate how important composting is. If you yourself are not starting a garden or you don't have plants in your yard, it can still be a great thing. If you keep your food scraps and your brown material, your leaves from your yard, and you save it, there is, I'm sure, someone who you know, either in your neighborhood or a family member, someone like me who would really greatly appreciate your compost. It reduces waste. Things don't need to be going to the landfill like that, and we can be giving it back to Mother Earth. So please, everyone out there, it is worth thinking about, and it is a very valuable and beneficial thing to be a part of. So please do it. If you don't have the space to do the method that we used or to this size, there are so many different ways to do it. Even if you live in a small apartment, you can use different containers. It's worth looking into. People are doing all sorts of things that are really cool for composting bins, DIY things. Look it up. Everyone can be doing it to some extent. It's totally worth it. I just wanted to show where in proximity we decided to put the compost bin in relation to the garden bed. So here is the finished compost bin, and our garden bed is right there. Now, as you can tell, there is a main road right here near both the garden bed and the bin. Now, when we first started, I was expecting to do this in the backyard so that we would have not only more privacy, but so that if this compost ends up being smelly, that it won't be an issue for people walking by. But in reality, we needed to choose the most convenient spot for us to put the compost bin, and that happened to be closest to the garden bed and in a spot that was otherwise not going to be used for plants because of shade. And as far as the garden bed goes, we needed to pick a part of the yard that was going to get full sun for the longest period of the day. So ultimately, I could not choose a little secret Zen garden private in the back. I needed to be practical and efficient and choose the spot that was going to be the sunniest. So I think those are two important things to mention. Another thing I forgot to mention was that this here compost that we started today will probably take anywhere from 6 to 10 weeks for it to actually be ready to put on our garden. So I really wanted to get this started as soon as possible because it does take some time. So keep that in mind. Try to start a compost as soon as you can. That way when your plants are ready to receive it, your compost is ready to put on there. Alright, I hope you enjoy this video and maybe got some good information out of it. If anyone has any guidance they would like to leave a comment below, I would appreciate it. Stay tuned. We're working very hard on this garden. We plan on doing a lot of videos on it, so more videos to come, and we'll see you next time. Take care.